Okay, I want to show you something I've been working on called Oculus. Oculus. It is a process monitor or file system monitor. So if any file or system or process changes occur, it's going to log that activity. You can run Oculus with two different flags. There's the quiet flag, which will prevent printing of any warnings. Currently, the only warning is related to check interval. If you set your check interval too low, then it's possible for a scan to take longer than the check interval, which means that you're probably going to hog too many CPU cycles. You might slow down other programs and things of that sort. So that's why it's a warning, but you can silence that warning with quiet if you really, really want a lowest as possible scan interval. Right now, if you were to just type Oculus to run it, by default, it's going to do so, allowing the warnings to print, as well as using a check interval default of 1 second. Oculus has two different sort of runtime modes. There's uncontrolled, where if I don't launch a process right now, it's going to enter uncontrolled mode, where the only way to kill it would be to kill the entire script with the X on the window or with Control-C. That's not good for a lot of people's use cases, especially mine. I like to have my exploiter window or exploiter terminals long lasting, so I'm going to launch a notepad in this case. It doesn't matter what program it is. It could be Notepad, it could be map.exe, just any program. In this case, Oculus says it will continue to run until Notepad.exe, specifically this notepad, is closed. So if I close it right now, you can see that Oculus does indeed stop running. If I run Oculus with quiet and an extremely low check interval, I can run Oculus, launch Notepad, any key to continue. So now it's checking often. It's checking really often. So if I were to type, let's say, corrupt logs, you can see that, yes, there was a file change, and it prints the contents of the file if the file that changed or was created is a text file. If it's a binary file, it won't print the contents. It'll just say that it has changed. So in order to convert from a log type of text to binary, I'm just going to scan local libraries. And now it's a binary, and you can see that it has changed. And if I were to type targets-L, you can see it is a binary log type now. Let's do targets delete. Let's do a little quick printfs. I want to demonstrate if I were to remove, let's say, the root directory, you can see that file was deleted. In this case, it was a folder, but still file was deleted, and it tells you the path of the file that was deleted. If I were to do, let's say, I don't know, what's a more safe thing to delete? I don't want to get rid of it. Anyway, okay, let's do home guest. So let's remove home, and that's going to get rid of everything underneath it. So you can see in this case, we have a lot of changes. I'll explain some in a moment. So we have deletion of these files. However, we also have files changed. This is a side effect of how Exploiter will safely remove files, because by default, if you actually delete a file, it will leave a log entry in the log, the system log on the system itself. So it doesn't actually run deletes. What it does is it moves a file over the target that you want to delete and then moves it back. And so that's what you're seeing here. If I were to demonstrate processes, let's go ahead and launch a shell. Now if I type ps, you can see that, yes, root opened the program ps, and it even gives you a PID. If I were to type file system, or sorry, oh, I don't have File Explorer, I should. User bin file. Oh, because anyway, that's whatever, it's fine. So you can see that root opened File Explorer, and if I were to, say, create a new folder, you can see a file created, boot AFD. Additionally, if I were to delete it, you can see that it was not really deleted, but it was moved in this case, because that's how File Explorer works. If I were to close this window, you can see process has been terminated. And that is Exploiter. That is how Exploiter works. You can use it to monitor your own file system for changes as you run various programs. You can run it to see if a binary that you're running is somewhat safe. You can see what processes it's launching in the background, things of that sort. You can also run it on routers that you've compromised. If you're using like a proxy, for example, and you're hacking from that target, you can use Oculus to tell you if somebody's hacked you back. Oculus can help determine if somebody has jumped or pivoted onto your system, allowing you to know when you need to corrupt logs and then safely get out. Anyway, that is Exploiter, and hopefully you find this video at all helpful. Happy hacking.